You guys have a hype song for when you're about to go present?
It's so funny that you talked about this because we literally had a whole thread yesterday. Kenny didn't weigh in on it, but I did
I
for
just
if we had a walk-up song in baseball, what would it be? Because my daughter was trying to come up with it, and everything that I was saying, she was calling oldies, which is kind of offensive. But my walk-up song definitely, and my hype song, I actually have a whole, Kenny, I don't know if you know this. Real quick aside, every day at 4 p.m. during COVID, I would have to get on a conference call with two um, of the heads of a major organization that we were working with, and they would basically yell at me for 30 minutes. And so every day around 4 p.m., I would have a playlist on Spotify that I would listen to mentally prepare to basically get yelled at, because it was definitely a situation where they weren't really interested in what I had to say unless it was what they wanted to hear.
Oh
And
my God.
so my favorite song of that is a song called Annie Up by Busta Rhymes. But next to that was definitely DMX because, you
Oh
know,
my God.
I had to start like getting a little bit of the growl going on, like, I don't know if you know DMX, but
I do, but I'm freaking out if your kid called DMX oldies.
I know. Yeah, well, you know DMX is dead,
he
right?
did pass away. So
When?
Kate's like, I didn't even know this. This is like a couple years ago
like
at this
yeah,
point.
5 years
My
ago.
gosh, I had the biggest crush on him. You know, when he started doing movies,
I
Yeah, with
don't think
Jet
I've
Li.
seen a
Great
movie with
movies.
DMX.
he was in some amazing movies. And anytime it was shirt off scene, I was like, oh my gosh, he's a hot lead. I would put him as a hot lead in Salesforce.
So that would be my walk-up song.
Okay.
I don't know about
I
you.
love that so much that you have a walk up song. A and B, I'm super curious about like this getting yelled at every day. And like, I think you know everything at Five to Flow. We talk about burnout and
Yeah.
flow and how you were trying to get yourself into flow for something that definitely is going to burn you out. Like, how long did that go on?
All of COVID, way too long, probably like a year and a half. 35 pounds later, yeah, it definitely burnout took its toll in a way that was not just mental, but also physical.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's so crazy you share that because I'm about to launch a campaign with a friend of mine about specifically around when you either love your job so much that you're so in it that you gain weight, or I don't know if you lost 35 pounds or gained 35
No,
pounds.
gained 35 pounds. This was on top of like the world, collapsing around COVID. So
Yeah.
I can't blame it all on
No,
that couple.
I understand that, but like my very first Salesforce implementation, and this was like a huge story when I came to Blue Wolf and at Acumen, and JM was dying in this one meeting we had with him where I told the client the story that my very first Salesforce project, I was the client, and from beginning to the full year of the first year of the 2 year project, I gained 40 pounds in 1 year. And so when JM walked into the room at the story, it was the point where I was showing the before and after picture. And I'm in a bathing suit. It wasn't like inappropriate, but he's like, had no context. Like, why is Kate showing a picture of herself in a bathing suit? And I was like, I'm trying to get them not to like eat all the snacks in the break room and skip a healthy lunch and skip their workout. And we shouldn't have meetings back to back. So it was definitely a relevant story, but I could see taken out of context, he thought it was super weird. Well, I'm glad you have a hype song. Kenny, you don't have one, or you?
I don't. I just stew around in my own mind for, and
Oh,
psych
I'll
myself
pick
up
a
that
hype
way. It's
song
it's
for Kenny.
terrible.
I'll pick a hype song for you. Kenny is very good at karaoke.
oh, really?
And
What's
I've definitely heard him do some pretty good karaoke. He's pretty
I do
good at Kenny
partake.
Rogers in
wait? What's your
particular.
go-to song for karaoke?
I have like a cadre of songs. I sing a lot of
Top
songs for
three. Top
karaoke.
three.
Top three. I guess Islands in the Stream can be up there, Teresa.
Okay.
That's a classic.
Pretty good one for
Um,
you.
uh, I'll sing Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. I'll sing that.
Oh, that's
I'll
a hard one
sing
to
it is
sing.
hard. He's a tenor and it's really hard. But it's fun. And then I sing, I guess the last of the top three could be like any number of like 80s, 90s country songs, like a lot
Oh
of
my
them,
gosh.
like tons
Well,
of
it's
them.
so
So,
funny, Kenny and going to Kenny Rogers. I was thinking I'd pull a South Park song for you where Kenny's like,
oh, I will sing Freedom Isn't Free. I just sung it last week, if that's what you're talking about. It's not a good time to sing it, but it's fun.
gosh, I love it. Awesome. Well, my hype song for big presentations right before I get on is Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake. And I just will get up and do the dance. And then I follow all the Ted Lasso rules of like right before the call, I do, Rebecca, like make yourself huge and like feel good. Do you guys watch Ted Lasso?
I do,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's my fave. So I think so many lessons in that. Awesome. Well, we're here to talk about Dreamforce, why we're partnering and showing up there. So, just a quick overview for our listeners. Tell me about Vectr Solutions and what your core mission and vision is, and then what you want to achieve at Dreamforce.
Sure, yeah. So Vectr Solutions, we are a Salesforce consulting partner focusing primarily with public sector, really specializing in transformations, especially in regulated industries where you have to consider security. We also have core principles around change management that are really important in that anytime we're working with a customer, their transformation isn't just about technology, it's also about people and processes. So we're really excited to bring that lens to Dreamforce in partnership with Five to Flow because we think that that's core to our approach in terms of delivering transformation with our customers.
I love that. And it is in complete alignment as Kenny's head nodding. Kenny, any thoughts you'd add for like, I know we were going to talk about Agentforce and talk about,
hmm
I'll introduce Five to Flow in a second, but our point of view with AI, how are you doing with Agentforce and AI stuff?
Well, I mean, we're doing great. I like to emphasize the fact that we've got like the process and the technology, which again, Agentforce and AI as a whole in the industry is just going absolute ham. Like
Yep.
there's people implementing apps like crazy, and every time we talk to somebody during that conversation, it's going to come up, right? And so you have to have some perspective on that, and of course, trying to sound knowledgeable on it, which is basically my job, is to basically be perfectly good at it from a technical standpoint and be able to actually deliver then after I've convinced them that they need it. And of
Yep.
course, what we see nowadays is everybody just trying to implement it because they're being told they have to or they'll fall behind.
Right.
And so just kind of dealing with that problem is uh, that fills my mind instead of a hype song on a daily basis, I would say.
Well, I agree so much on everything you said, and part of the intro of Five to Flow and Teresa, how we started the whole partnership is what Five to Flow stands for is people, culture, process, tech, and analytics. And we love that you're looking at all those things with that change management fundamental underlier. And so our POV on AI is it has to promote flow or prevent burnout. And so I'm curious, like as we've taught you a little bit about flow, Kenny, do you get into flow using AI?
Um, I I uh I haven't figured that piece out yet. Mostly because I'm too
Penny, you
busy.
told me you have conversations with AI all day long.
I
You told
do.
me
Well,
you sit and talk to AI all day long. I get kind of jealous because I'm like pinging
so
Kenny
does
on
my
Slack and
wife.
he's not responding, and here he's
Wait, your
talking to
wife's jealous of
ChatGPT.
AI. We got to go on that one.
Well, no, I literally, I'll pull up, well, because the thing is, the normal workflow for the past 10 years is, right, like I have a problem, I'm a DIYer, I can figure it out on my own, right? So normally I would Google it, look for YouTube videos, whatever. Now I pull up this Australian lady in ChatGPT and she tells me and makes me feel pretty dang good about it when I'm talking to her, right? And so, my wife will walk around and she'll hear me
Stroke your
chatting
ego.
with ChatGPT. It's literally like that South Park episode, same thing. And so that episode was like she was rolling her eyes the entire episode because it's exactly the same. Because I will bring it up. I will have a conversation with ChatGPT instead of just running queries on Google, and that's how I figure out what to do. And in some cases I can spitball, and I've told Cece, I was like, hey, I can change it to a dude. I'm still gonna chat with it all the time. And so, but does that get me into flow or not? I think that's tough. Like obviously it helps me get through the hurdles of my own lack of motivation because I don't know how to do something. And it helps with that. But I haven't used it in a way where like I am in the middle of flow and then using it maybe
Mm.
is I guess it helps me achieve it faster, maybe is.
Okay, so I have one first question is, did you program it to be an Australian lady, or was
No,
that the
well,
default?
I think it may have been the default. I may have went through it a couple times and picked a voice. I'm going to be
Well,
honest.
that's a curious, non-judgmental question
Oh,
because
okay.
Siri on my cell phone has been Aussie male Siri forever. And so one time I'm
Oh,
running a call when I lived in New Zealand with five Aussies, and I said something about my Aussie, and it said in the Australian voice, like, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch that." And everybody on the Zoom was like, "What was that?" And I was like, "I told you I'm in love with Aussie Siri." And I actually know a guy who knows who it is. And I said, if I ever get a chance to meet Aussie Siri, I'm marrying him because this
oh
voice.
man.
So I loved
It's
it.
like
So then my
it's
wife
like
does have
weird
something to worry about.
science. Did you
It's a
guys
real
ever
person.
see did you ever see the movie Weird Science back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
It's like modern day weird science where the algorithm knows exactly what you guys want in a like partner, and so now it's programmed the voice to be what your ideal partner wants.
I love that you've seen that movie. That was like quintessential my
I
teenage
know.
years of like being obsessed with those guys and lines from that movie. It's so good. Awesome. All right. So, Teresa, for Dreamforce, what's your big goal being there and getting people to come listen to our talk?
I think my big goal would be to connect with anyone that's thinking about how they're using AI, especially with Agentforce, and to be thinking on the other side of it, which is, how is this going to help my team? How's it going to help us move our company? And really thinking about it less about the technology and more about how it's going to impact and have lasting change. I
Mm,
think right now, so many of our customers are facing downsizing, layoffs. Everyone's wearing more than one hat, that I'd love to have some meaningful discussions around how AI is going to help them do more with less, because I think that's relevant to most companies and organizations right now.
mm. I used to have the joke of we're going to do more with less until we have to do everything with nothing. And so I think that's the big fear we've seen is where is AI replacing jobs? But I think our POV is more specific. And I'd love, Kenny, your perspective on this of like, what is it replacing within my job that then I have newfound time to do more strategic things? So, like if you're in sales and it can automate stuff that used to take a couple hours a day, now you can spend more client facing time. If you're in service and it can automate specific things, now you can be proactive outreach for your, key clients that you want to be proactive with service. So, what are you guys seeing the most at Vectr? You mentioned public sector and nonprofit. Like that's a huge area of tight budgets. Hopefully not all screaming at you when you meet with them every day anymore. But what's your perspective on that, Kenny? Of like, it's not replacing jobs per se, but maybe over the course of
Hmm.
some downsizing, it could.
Yeah, and I think it's embedding itself in an individual's workday to where it's spreading to the point where, hey, I've got these things. Teresa, there was a term you would always use, or maybe it was Tim, like eating the frog. I think like removing
Mhm.
those blockers, more or less, to say, hey, I have this thing I need to do, and it doesn't even have to be aligned with like nonprofit or public sector. It's just these are the things I have to do that were always so daunting for me motivationally, or perhaps the hard thing that I would want to avoid to the last possible minute, like my natural procrastinator brain would do. And so getting some output makes it feel like I've taken that first step onto the invisible like bridge, to move across to the other side. So I
Mm.
think to me, that's where I see it as an easy answer to getting into anyone in the workforce. Um, and we see that. I mean, our team's been doing that a lot. So there's a few folks who have taken it to power user levels, and then there are a few folks who, you know, didn't like it at first, and then I find, oh, there you are using it, aren't you? Okay, I see you're dipping your toes in it.
I
So
love that.
that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the varying levels, and but for the public sector in general, obviously there's very discrete things that we can see there, like particularly around bid management, which writing and building out responses to bids is a huge effort that now all of that kind of kind of like work, all that typing work and all of that is something that can be made much easier now. I'm trying to think of like what that role is in
Yeah.
paralegals. Like if you think about
Yeah.
it, paralegals, the example there is a lot of their work has to be so much more reduced because a lot of it was very hands-on and robotic in a way. And so a lot of those early AI use cases, I feel like applied that to that significantly. And I think the same is for a lot of these bids where there's a lot of legalese in them that isn't as
Yeah.
important. How do I surface the important stuff to the top so I can action on it sooner? I think that we're seeing that a lot, and a lot of requests are coming in from customers like that.
So interesting. And there was a particular thing I wanted to talk about with you two based on like change management connecting to tech implementations is Teresa, something you and I have ate, slept, and breathed of somewhere between 70 and 84% of tech programs fail to meet program objectives. A lot of people say they fail, but I would say it's still there. People might be using it, but they fail to meet a program objective if it was like, we're implementing AI so that we can fire 4,000 people or whatever the number is. What are you guys seeing from a perspective of, is anyone setting ROI to this, or are we still greenfield enough in your clients that it's like, at least if the functionality is helping our people, we're not necessarily measuring a return on the investment? What are you both seeing?
I think that a lot of customers are still trying to figure out how to define what the ROI and what the measures are. We were recently working with a customer on the case management or service side and thinking about their KPIs and where AI intersects with their KPIs and where we think there would be impact. And I think it's still um, I think it's still something hard for customers to be thinking about, also because the cost model is a little bit different with a lot of our AI tools, especially with something like Agentforce and moving to like a consumption-based model on the licensing side. So I think customers are struggling with, well, how do we even define what the ROI looks like given our KPIs and now kind of what the cost of AI looks like.
Mm,
So that's what I'm seeing, but I think that's where we've been able to be good partners with those customers and thinking through and maybe even redefining the traditional KPIs so that they can start to look at, again, where there might be other impacts that are not necessarily customer facing and get back to things like, you know, time saved or the reduction in manual processes. Those are important KPIs too for fostering
right.
something like flow in a healthy workplace.
Yeah. Kenny, any thoughts from you?
I just think a lot of the research and all of that is like still not proliferated enough to where folks are comfortable with understanding how to measure the thing they barely
Mm,
understand themselves. So
yep.
not only do they need to learn it, but they need to learn how, well, they need to learn it and then potentially invest in it before they actually can measure the results. And the lack of the belief there is forcing folks, in my opinion, to do it's polarizing to do two things, which is not go near it or go near it and stuff it away in their organization, or just go whole hog and start, you know, firing people or just making their process be adopting it wholeheartedly.
Yep.
Which again, that makes sense that early on like this that they would do that, not so much have a confident plan in place. So,
Yep.
but
I think it's an interesting one where I think you both know this will be my 15th Dreamforce and been working in the Salesforce ecosystem since 2008. It's been around for 26 plus years, and I still struggle to get clients to just set KPIs and metrics around Salesforce itself versus here we are in the AI world of trying to get people to do that. And so it's like, I don't know. I think Teresa, one of the projects you and I were on together where we tried to get the client to set specific metrics, thought, okay, if they fail on those metrics, the CIO is getting fired. And I'm like, no, 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 I don't want to set project-based metrics about ROI of the tool. I want to set like the value of adoption so we can iterate on continuing to enable people to do their jobs better. So in the world of framing, promoting flow, preventing burnout, we're really looking for AI tools in conjunction with Salesforce and want to talk about this at Dreamforce of what tools can you give your people to get them home earlier, get them off the computer earlier, have bigger wins, more clarity with customers. And so, Kenny, I was kind of baiting you on if you get into flow with AI, because I do. There are days like kind of like in the early world of social media where I started thinking in like little Facebook or Instagram posts. And now I'm always thinking on a walk, like, ooh, I can't wait to go back to Claude and ask it this question about how it would frame a story around this. So I totally get into flow using AI, and it's giving me more time to do interesting strategic work where like payroll and admin and note taking and following up on project stuff is like gone. So, are either of you seeing just some of your own admin going away as localized examples of things you use AI for that we could talk about when we're at Dreamforce together?
The big admin that goes away for me is like not note. I guess it is note taking. I mean, I talk and I have a vault of notes that I store by project, and they're segregated by, I don't know if this is the best way to do it. That's the thing. It's just the way I do it, but it's like segregated by like how I have my little drawers of thought in my brain, and I open and
Yep.
close them as needed. It's basically, I think Napoleon said that, so I'm not going to take that quote. But the idea is that, I can go to each project and then like talk in the context of that project, and then I usually just say store that note, store this, bring it up later. It's like Dumbledore's little thing with the pool where they store the memories in there. That's what I like to consider it.
I love that. I think it's definitely helped me like silo across customers, but then also come up with more umbrella solutions when I start seeing things similar across customers. So like what we'll talk about a little bit at Dreamforce are the diagnostic tools we use to uncover what's the actual problem in this client, because I bet you guys get a ton of customers wanting you to fix problem A with the tools. But as you start working, they actually have problem D and M and Z, right? And so how do we, I should have said, uh, who were we just talking about? Your favorite song?
DMX.
DMX. We're solving for A, but they have DMX problems.
Oh, there you go.
Coming full circle.
I
Yeah,
do.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was one thing around that I think is worth, which I think we will talk about at Dreamforce, which is just that I think it was Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, had said that like fundamentally, this is some technical stuff, but like fundamentally behind the scenes, like the way we interface with tools and all of that is just going to change. And the reason for that being is
Oh,
that
yeah.
tools we've always used, maybe this is like on deaf ears because everyone knows this, but the tools we've always used have always been based on our eyes, our hands, as an interface. Well, AI doesn't need that. It's not limited by that. So a lot of our typical business level, presentation level applications are not going to look the same anymore, right? And we're seeing that manifest across all these organizations where things like service is becoming just a bar you talk to somebody. Well, before it used to be, scrolling through tables and seeing things, but you don't need all of that when the AI can have the vault in its brain for you, and you don't need to store the vault yourself. You don't need to have fingers or eyes to see the vault because they're in front of it for you.
Mm.
And so I think that's a big, I don't know, that's something that I am harping on a lot. Obviously, I can nerd out on it for the next couple hours, but that's, I think, going to be a big change with how we fill our days to the point where, hey, all of us as workers in the industry will now have to siphon away those hours that we spend in admin to other things, and we'll have more time that way, I would say. So I just think that's a huge change in like architecture and
That's
how software is developed, really. So
It's massive and it's so funny. So Teresa and I had started collaborating on this webinar called Gray Eye instead of AI, and it's for like Gen X and baby boomer leaders to like be a little bit more thoughtful about how we're managing change in organizations with AI. And that we've been through, so I'm not going to age anybody on this call but myself, that I went to college without the internet or a computer or a cell phone. And so then when I went into banking, I had no email. And one day we all got this random announcement like, you have this new thing called email. And so, like, picture your first job with almost zero technology. I had to handwrite memos, make photocopies, and send interoffice mail for stuff, stand at a microfiche machine. And so we hosted a session last week with a very forward thinking change manager who's written books on change management. And she said, like, we all just need to pause here and think about change management changing, because we now have 5 generations in the workforce. Like, think about that. Like, there are still boomers in the workforce, and then all the others that are in the workforce who have had varying degrees of technology saturation in their life, varying degrees of change readiness in their life. And we used to say this project, like, I've been on Salesforce projects that were 4 years long. Now, with technology moving so fast, we're only 5, and we're on our third tool for this thing and our fourth tool for that thing. And my IT guy takes a look at what he built 5 years ago and shames himself because why would I do it that way? And I'm like, well, what you're doing now didn't exist 6 months ago, maybe not even 6 days ago. So the change is so fast that, Kenny, as soon as you and
Mhm.
Teresa build something, it could be like, oh shoot, tomorrow there's like this new tool coming out that's even better.
And there's also AI to build apps that
Yep,
is also making that even faster, which is insane.
absolutely. So, Teresa, any other things you want our potential attendees to know about our session at Dreamforce? I know we're going to have lots of protein for breakfast because I'm a carnivore. Sorry, vegans, you'll have plenty to choose from as well.
I was gonna bring that up. I think outside of our core messaging around AI transformation and flow, you'll have great entertainment between yours truly and our co-hosts here. And then also we have some really exciting giveaways, some first class level swag and takeaways to help you get into flow, especially while you're at Dreamforce. So I'm excited for some food, fun, and comedy as we talk about AI transformation.
A little bit. I think one thing I'll share too, and not everybody knows this, but I think it was probably about maybe the last Dreamforce before COVID, I did an actual stand-up bit about, that I got fired from booth duty because I kept putting hot leads in that were just attractive men that walked by the booth.
I may
And
have
then
gotten in trouble for the same thing, by the way.
yeah,
But
yeah, I love it. So why I wanted us to do this and why I'm so grateful for your partnership in this is Dreamforce is a whirlwind. So yeah, it's my 15th one. I used to coach my clients on what kind of shoes to bring, how not to plan things back to back because everything will run over, everything will be late, and that is not flowy. So we hope our attendees will take a breath, take some relaxation time, have a few laughs, refresh their brain. And as we teach them a couple ways to reduce cognitive overload with the tools you guys are building, we'll send them away with a couple key actions and some swag. I love the swag. Teresa, thank you. Any other closing thoughts, Kenny, from you?
I don't think so. See you
Awesome.
October 15th.
Yeah, I can't wait. When do you guys get in?
On Columbus Day, isn't it? The 13th,
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Monday. Yep,
I
You
get in
guys want
early.
to hear some of the jokes that AI made for me so we can just end on some jokes?
please.
Sure.
Our data is so clean it squeaks. Unfortunately, so do our employees when they're asked to use it. I didn't write that. My AI wrote that.
Okay.
This one isn't about me. This is about my clients. We have a 360-degree customer view, mostly of them walking away. I think my AI tool thinks that customers are not happy right now.
Here I have one.
Okay.
Why did the AI agent get a therapist?
I don't know.
It had a lot of data to process.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That was generated by AI as well.
well,
This one, my Agentforce is so attractive, it's getting more action than my dating profile. Oh, I can't believe that this is literally what this wrote. So good. Awesome. All right. Well, It is so great to partner with you guys. I'm super excited about the event. And maybe we can make that hype playlist for the session. And some of it will have to be a little more relaxing, I think, than DMX, but happy to have that on the playlist.
Islands of Stream it is.
I'll just sing it for folks to come in the morning. Is that
Awesome.
what? Yeah.
I love it. Well, thanks so much, you guys. Looking forward to seeing you and everyone who is planning to attend our event. Please tell your friends and your colleagues. We're looking forward to seeing you all there.
Thanks, Kate.
Thanks, Kate.
Thanks, Vectr Solutions. You rock.